Alright, so this video is called Why Relationships Aren't Real and How They Can Be. And what I want to do in this video is share with you basically 6 things that I think most people forget most of the time. Not just in relationship, but even just life in general. Because the way in which we are conditioned to look at ourselves and look at the world and look at how we relate to these things is probably not that healthy, sustainable, or realistic. And it's our natural tendency to really be more interested in the idea of things or how things should be, rather than being based in anything real and pragmatic. And just because millions or billions of people share the same pathology doesn't mean that it's necessarily correct or efficient or effective. So the first basic thing that most people fail to understand and really dwell upon and reflect upon is that, number one, we are each individuals on individual path. And what I mean by that is each of us has a center, a psychic center, a sphere that is our own, that no one else can inhabit. We each have a path in a life that we are living that really no one else can live for us. So this is a hugely major thing, and I hope that each of these things are things that you won't just take at face value, but like I said, you will dwell and reflect upon them and mold them over, because they're multifaceted, they're very deep and profound concepts. So number 2 is that if we accept the former as true, then our commitment to growing spiritually or individually or personally and nurturing the discovery and expression of our deepest authentic self should be top priority. And if we can allow this for ourselves, we can allow this degree of love, understanding, openness, compassion, fill in the blank, then we can probably be a bit more likely to allow that for another person, because it's hard to give what you don't have, and we tend to show up and meet people at really our highest level of functioning. So if we're really not aware of ourselves, or really not honest with ourselves, that's really going to hinder our ability to be honest and authentic and real with other people. Likewise, it can be a really beautiful and amazing and transformative thing to be supported in this and to support another in this process, hence a real kind of relationship with, 2 individuals coming together. So number 3 is that both 1 and 2 are contingent upon the feminine-esque principles of openness, willingness, and awareness, and the masculine-esque principles of commitment, responsibility, and integrity and reflection. And I don't mean that in a gender way, I mean kind of an archetypical, more psychological, energetic kind of way. So number 4 is acceptance, love, and compassion for being an actual human being. And removing the bullshit, ideals, and entitlements when and where we find them, which we inevitably will, and we'll probably find lots of them. So that is to say, taking up the task and the responsibility for keeping our personal, psychic, emotional, and psychological space clean. And that's a key. Number 5 is realizing that there is no such thing as a relationship, that in reality there are 2 individuals who can choose to be open and love or not. And understanding that love is synonymous with freedom and empowerment, whereas expectation and entitlement are synonymous with bondage and not being very free or open. So if you want to learn more about that whole thing, I would recommend the work of Erich Fromm. He wrote lots of great books about gender roles and love and relationships. And his basic idea was that love isn't something that just sort of happens. It's something you can choose to be and something you can choose to do individually, personally, or not. And number 6 is we can be committed to all of the above with or without a relationship or lover, and or regardless of what anyone else does, because it is our path, our awareness, and ultimately our responsibility. Not our partners, not our parents, not our boss, not the president, no one. It's our responsibility. And number 7, I guess I lied, I thought there was only 6, but there's 7, is that ultimately we understand that who we are is bigger than our idea of ourselves, i.e. our ego, or whatever image we can make up of ourselves and or other people. And that there is a larger force or dynamic process at play of which we are just one small part. Thus, our ideas of control, contrivance, and entitlement fall in stark contrast with the ultimate greater mystery that is the unfolding of our lives. And understanding that maybe we really don't know, and that at best we are approximating, and at worst we could be grossly offending reality and ourselves and other people, but at best maybe we're just approximating. So those are the 7 basic tenets that I think most people forget most of the time. And these are things that we're all going to forget however many times a day, and things that we just come back to. And that's hence why I said dwell on them, reflect on them, digest, chew on them, make them your own. Because I think if any of these things are missing, then odds are our relationships and our spiritual growth, our personal growth will be stagnant, and it's doubtful that our authentic self will really be able to fully manifest itself. Because as Carl Jung said, what you resist persists, and until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So that's the 7 basic tenets and the reasons for why I think it's important. Now, I said some kind of big words earlier, like openness, willingness, awareness, commitment, blah, blah, blah. Now I just want to explain those in just a couple sentences to give you an idea of what I meant. So what I meant by openness, willingness, and awareness, meaning being open and willing to observe yourself and others as best as you can, to see them as they actually are, and as you would observe any other natural phenomena in nature. Because the way in which we treat humans is much different than the way we treat most every other object in reality, which obviously yes, but what I'm talking about specifically is all the expectation, all the neediness, all the projection, all the clinging on that we do, and all the baggage that we carry on, and starting to perhaps approach a more neutral kind of awareness where we're actually being able to be present and witness something beautiful and amazing and alive in front of us without any bullshit or any necessarily things to hang on to. Anyways, and then also being willing to be awake and present through all the quote good stuff we might do, and or through all the stupid shit that we will inevitably do as well. The other terms being commitment, responsibility, and reflection, being committed to being responsible for what we do and for reflecting upon the roots of our actions, feelings, and thoughts, and being committed to establishing, maintaining healthy psychic, emotional, and physical boundaries. And it's important to point out that all of the processes above are not entirely feminine or entirely masculine, and they're kind of applicable across the board. And again, why I'm saying we should reflect on them and make them our own. And we should also try to allow it to be a natural and easy process, because it shouldn't be some, yet another neurotically driven self-improvement, self-help campaign or something we do because it's our new lifestyle, or it's our new cool clothes that we're going to put on to be hip. Because honestly, I think that shit's really annoying and oftentimes really inauthentic. And it's really coming back to the real reality of the thing, and understanding that words just point to a thing. They're not the actual thing in and of themselves. Because a lot of times you start saying these big talismanic words, commitment, love, blah, 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 and people sort of just glaze over, and their sovereignty in their psychic center checks out, and they just kind of become hypnotized by these words. It's not what I'm saying. I think it's disgusting, so please don't do that. Because it's my belief that having these things in place, in my experience, that allows us as humans to play, grow, and love together in a much more realistic, healthy, and sustainable way, as everything we are saying and I have said so far is based on pragmatic, tangible, and easily observable facts of life. Meaning the more love, freedom, and acceptance we can allow for ourselves, probably the more we can allow for other people. And the healthier and more whole we feel as individuals, that can deepen our ability to share love, support, and really go deep with another person, or not. It's up to us. Because if we want to build a solid house, we need a solid foundation. If we want to grow fertile crops, we need fertile soil. And if we miss these things, then it's highly likely that the results will be less rewarding. And also, in closing, I should point out that each of these concepts, each aspect of this topic is pretty vast and deep in and of itself, and I could do individual videos on each one. But for the sake of context and brevity, I wanted to try to keep this as short and to the point as possible. So hopefully this has expanded your idea of these concepts and these ways of relating, and more importantly, giving you something to reflect upon and or question and or just expand the way you're seeing things. Because don't take my word for it. Don't just buy into whatever I'm saying. Don't just agree with it. Think about it, reflect upon it, make it your own, apply it to your life, see what happens. Either way, thanks for watching this video. If you like it, share it. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel, post a comment below, tell me what you think. Does this make sense? Does it not make sense? And I'll talk to you soon.